Oh, I've got you. You can either surrender your ship or die. Oh, I'll just hit hyperspace and leave. Ah, damn it. Option 3. I forgot about that one. Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here today talking about The Mandalorian. Season 3, Episode 1. The Apostate. We open with a Mandalorian coming-of-age ceremony, kind of like a baptism. Little kid stands in a river, receives the helmet that he can never remove. Until he outgrows it, I guess, and then he has to get a new one. But until then...
yeah, I wonder if they do a ceremony for each, advancement.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Are you still going to never take it off?
That's right. Can't remove pain. Too great. We momentarily wonder, I don't know, I did, and maybe others did too, is this a flashback to Mando's ceremony?
Right.
But no. Mando and Grogu fly in to rescue the Mandalorians from a giant dragon turtle creature somehow lives in this river. Like, how could it possibly eat enough in that river on a daily basis to survive? Anyway, that's where we start. We end with Mando visiting Bo-Katan in her castle on the planet Kalevala. She's been cast aside as a leader since she didn't acquire the dark saber, which Mando reminds us he still has. You know, he has the actual, I will say this, he has the etiquette not to like pull it out and go, here it is.
Yeah.
He doesn't show her and taunt her with it. He's just like, yeah, I got it. He says he's going back to Mandalore to bathe in the living waters. She gives him directions on where to best find them if they exist. She's kind of confident they don't. But she's like, yeah, if they existed, they'd be under here in this quarter. And that's where we end. So, Paul, before I pass it over to you, first, happy birthday, good sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Bring forth the partying Ewoks. Yubno.
Yes. My sister got me this.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Second, real fast, as you are well aware, everything comes back to Lord of the Rings. And Bo-Katan's planet.
I thought I couldn't like this show any less.
Kalevala, it's a loose connection, but I'll take any connection I get.
Yes, you're desperate.
Bo-Katan's planet, Kalevala, is the name of a book of Finnish mythology, which heavily influenced the writings of one J.R.R. Tolkien. So there you go. Happy birthday. Little Tolkien reference there for you. In any case, Paul, birthday boy.
You didn't have to.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have. What did you think of episode 1?
Well, I've been, spoiled by Andor.
Okay.
So, I was underwhelmed.
All right.
And one of the things, that it occurs to me that you didn't have on Andor at all is like, let's have a battle with some incredible beast. You just never had that on Andor. I guess you could say that's Star Wars. So yeah, I was, but I should just get used to it. That's what this show is. The dialogue is not as crisp as I would like it to be, and the characters aren't as three-dimensional. I don't think there was any subtext at all in this. I guess you maybe could argue that maybe the pirates are picking a fight because they want to take over the city. So maybe that's what they're up to.
Oh, you're saying maybe you're trying to push political intrigue into the show?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, please let that be.
There's secret motive. All right.
Clearly, they haven't. We haven't seen the last of them.
Well, we probably haven't, but I think they're just gonna be like, "Grr, kill." But okay, no, you're right. I mean, yes, this is not Andor. We both were big fans of the Andor show. Some people weren't. Some people were like, "That's not Star Wars enough for me." They're crazy, but
I wonder if they've seen a doctor. Those people.
Yeah, exactly. No, Andor's a great show, but yes, it wasn't to everybody's taste, I guess is my point. This is quintessential Mando, I would say. So like if you were like season 1, awesome. This is like of that level, right? It ticks all the boxes. Fight with giant critter, fight with ruffians, in this case pirates. Father-son Mando Grogu moment. Space battle. Credits. I mean, that's kind of like tick, 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 done, got it. Mission accomplished. I will. The space battle did look damn cool. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Empire Strikes Back, which is never a bad comparison.
Oh, sure, no.
So, it ticked the Mando boxes, but yes, it feels essentially like a hybrid cartoon / D&D module. That's what it is. It's like the 30-minute runtime actually works really well for the show because it wants, I think, to minimize the connective tissue, right? Blah, 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 talky, set up the next action sequence. What is the least amount we have to do to set up, oh my God, there's a dragon turtle. So mission accomplished in that way. It is an action show.
I wish they had higher ambitions. Gotcha. But, in our discussions, you... assume that Din Djarin will take over.
That's true. There are questions from the
Mandalore.
Yeah, and it is a storyline. It is a narrative. We'll see if.
Well, you said unify. You said unify, really, and I can't imagine you would actually think he'd end up being. It'd be about him, like sitting on that throne, right?
I don't know. Maybe. Right. It's like the evolution of this character. He started as a loner bounty hunter. He's not a native Mandalorian, but he's a foundling. He adopts the Mandalorian's ways. Mandalore is crushed. It's defeated. As we see in this episode, its leaders, we meet kind of the two leaders of the two big factions, right? So and they're both basically like, yeah, whatever. They're both sitting alone in a room like, go do what you want, man. It's pointless. So I get the feeling that he's going to be the guy who shows it's not pointless. Wow, if anybody bothered to check out Mandalore, I had this little piece. Somebody obviously went there and got it. He's going to prove that Mandalore is still vibrant or still alive in some way, the planet. And then he's the guy that bridges the gap in these two big factions. He brings them together, and he has the Darksaber. It sounds like that might be the evolution to then he is the leader of the Mandalorians.
I think they'll come up with some excuse, some way to have Bo-Katan take oh no, somebody's fighting him. He dropped the sword.
Right.
His opponent picked up the sword. Oh, wait, step aside.
Yeah,
I'll take over, and Bo-Katan will kill the guy and then pick up the sword. Otherwise, I think it's going to be like Superman 2, where Zod sits in the president's chair and be like, well, what else is there left to do?
Yeah, good point. Or the end of Conan the Barbarian, where it's like he's sitting on, it's like, and it would lead many adventures, would blah, 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 blah. And you see the like old man Arnold Schwarzenegger sitting on his throne is like, but that is a story for another time. Or something like that. And it just leaves off like, he would eventually become king, but we're not going to talk about that. You had brought up a good point when we were talking earlier, that Bo-Katan is so dismissive, even in this episode, and certainly in season 2, of the Death Watch, or their primitive. Oh, you're so superstitious. Oh, you got to keep these helmets on, and you guys are the reason we lost. And yet, she caters to this superstition of, well, the only way you can get the Darksaber is if you kill someone for it. It's like she was literally offered it, in the last season. Din Djarin's like, hey, you want to take it. I don't want to be leader. And she's like, no, I can't. I must kill you for it. Take it. So she has quite a few superstitions of her own.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, I guess, that she was like, hey, let me lead. Like, no, we don't want to follow you without that sword. And what she could have done is take the sword, and if someone says, I don't want to follow you, you didn't win in battle. And then she could kill them. And then said, okay, who else doesn't want to follow me?
Right, yeah. I suppose you could say that she doesn't really, maybe she doesn't believe that, but she knows everyone else does, so she has to cater to this superstition.
Yeah, see, and she should literally, I should be her advisor. Here, like, Mando, give me that sword here, take it. Okay, this guy, he doesn't believe you. He's not going to follow you. Just kill him. Okay. the line form behind this guy. Who doesn't want to follow Bo-Katan?
Or maybe you just go, all right, so Mando, you're giving me this sword freely. Thank you. That is quite a sacrifice on your part. Can we just both agree that I beat you in combat for it? Is that, if you're going to give it to me anyway, you realize that no one's going to follow me unless they think I took it from you. So if you really want me to be ruler, you are going to have to go in on this with me. I beat you in combat. You good with that? Great. Okay. Great. Okay. Hey, I beat him. Ask him. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah. And really, like, if only they watched, like, Black Panther, because, like, it's like, just challenge him, and kick his ass, and then take the sword. I mean, like in this Kona, they have a Don King kind of character, to be like,
take off the
get in there, and
yeah.
like a Popeye Burgess Meredith guy to be like, come on, chase that chicken, come on, and then they could have a bout where they fight, and then she could win. There, boom.
I think you just did the plot of Creed 4.
Yeah, I think so.
Kang already fought Killmonger, so now we have a... Anyway.
That's true.
So I will say this. I think we need a Last of Us Mandalorian crossover. Like it turns out Grogu grows up to be Ellie. Because these shows are surprisingly similar. Not the least of which is
really trying to make this show something that your wife wouldn't watch.
Yeah, that's right. Zombies, even if they're fungi zombies, that's out for Jackie. But obviously, Pedro Pascal is playing essentially the same role in both franchises.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Violent loner with tragic past, living in a lawless society, agrees to take child on a long journey, develops familial ties with the child along the way.
Surrogate father of the year.
Yeah, kills a bunch of folks to protect child. And if you told me that The Mandalorian is based on a video game, I'd buy it. Be like, that's probably what it is, right? You gotta shoot that dragon turtle, level up. Something that was so I will say that the show I think did what it wanted to do in terms of like it reminded us of the major players. We got to see Karga. You're right. You're back on Navarro. Understood. We touch base with Grogu, and we see Bo-Katan, and we see the Mandalorian. So we did all of that, and it reminded us of what this new quest. I'm
really impressed too by how much Grogu has grown between the last time we saw him. I mean, he's really learned a lot and matured.
Do I sense sarcasm on your birthday, Paul?
Ooh, you are strong with the powers
I
of the
am powerful
Force,
for
Matt.
the ways of the Force. Now, it's even worse because, per an interview, Jon Favreau indicated that Grogu actually trained for years. I think he said 2 years. 2 years with Luke before he left. That was kind of unclear. Why is Grogu still acting like an infant? Other than the obvious reason that it sells toys.
Yeah.
I've actually got a theory on this. And
oh my God!
I might be wrong on this, but
much more respect for this conceit than I do.
You're
Go ahead
right.
with your ridiculous theory.
Yeah, he has. I would say he's over 50, well over 50 years old at this point.
Sure, of course.
And it's not just the years; it's the experience, right? He has all he's been training under Luke Skywalker. I don't think Luke Skywalker's training a da-da-ba-da-da.
Yeah. I would say he's more like the baby in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, exactly. So here's my theory. Did the show draw the wrong conclusions from Empire Strikes Back Yoda? Now, I mentioned earlier there's no such thing as a bad Empire Strikes Back comparison. This might be the one exception. So when we first meet Yoda in Empire Strikes Back, he seems very simplistic and childlike. Scrounges through Luke's stuff for food. He grabs the flashlight. Bonks R2 with his cane. But that's just Yoda putting on an act to test Luke. Does Luke have patience? How does Luke treat those who seem irrelevant and maybe a bit annoying? And then we see that awesome switch in Yoda's behavior. He's like, I cannot teach him. The boy has no patience. And you're like, oh, there's Yoda. That's Yoda. But, did they take, because he seems so, blah, 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 blah. Originally, they're like, that must be what Yoda's race is for 100 years.
Me!
Yeah. Their childhood lasts for decades because look, that's the way he was acting. Like, I don't know if that was indeed what they decided to draw on. That was the wrong conclusion.
Yeah, if he was just a little more active and a little more verbal, it would probably be quite a bit more expensive.
True, and he wouldn't be as cute. I think the moment he starts talking, he's less cute.
I mean, I don't know. I think rather than take the argument that supports their decision, I'd rather say, another creature that only says like 3 words, begs to differ. And that's Groot.
Groot. Well, Groot as a teenage Groot is a grumpy goth guy, basically.
Yeah, but for a while he would actually, when he was first sprouted in the first one, at the end of the first one, by the second one, he's dancing and doing all sorts of things that this one isn't doing.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I will say it was pretty cute when he was like spinning in the chair while Grief and Mando were having a serious conversation. That was pretty. I was like, all right, that's pretty cute.
Yeah, it did nothing for me.
Yep. And he uses the Force for very good reasons, stealing Skittles. There you go.
Oh, he was using the Force to spin himself around the chair.
Yeah, right. I mean, you don't need to, right? You can just like...
No.
Maybe he does because his legs are
he kind of does because he doesn't touch anything with his body.
Yeah.
He's so fully in the chair that he can't,
Right. Right. I will say something that was... I think a little odd. They did it previously on, and they showed they reminded us of IG-11, who's very important in this episode and stuff like that. And they made sure that in that first scene, the dragon turtle scene, that Mando kind of has another conversation we already heard in season 2 with the armorer. It was like, look. I guess I'm outcast, but I won't be if I go to Mandalore. Remember?
Yes.
And
yes.
So all that stuff, they're kind of reminding the audience this is where we are. But the one thing they didn't remind the audience of at all was Luke, and he wasn't in any part of the previously on. If you hadn't watched Boba Fett, which I don't know, I feel like there's probably a subset. There's probably a subset of people that were like Mandalorian. They heard it was great. They watched it. And then Boba Fett, they heard it was not so great, and they didn't watch it. And that subset of people would be very confused because they'd be like, wait, I thought he said goodbye to Grogu at the end of season 2, and now he's in a ship with Grogu, and they don't even address it.
I would think the only thing that would disappoint people about not seeing Boba Fett actually is, wow, he certainly seems to be using the Force slightly better than he did at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, well. He's cute. Who cares?
Who cares? Narratively, and also, I think I personally would have made a choice to keep them apart longer in terms of the show. Maybe that's an end of season 3. They get back together, kind of thing. It just feels a little like you undercut the emotional, and it was an emotional moment at the end of season 2 when he says goodbye to Grogu, and then to have them immediately the next episode, beginning of the next episode, they're back. I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. I don't think they have enough faith in their show. That's why Grogu stays the same. And in fact, just stick him there in the first episode. That's what people are watching for these little Grogu moments.
True.
Speaking like somebody who doesn't have a pet.
That's right. See, for your birthday, Paul, got to get out there, adopt. I've got Mr. Pickles. He's asleep. Actually, Mr. Pickles at this moment is asleep in a Grogu cat bassinet. There you go. I've fallen for the franchising.
Thanks.
So we get space whales when they're going through hyperspace. We see the shadow, Grogu's like, ooh. I think that's probably just planting a seed for the Ahsoka show. Because those space whales, kind of a goofy, frankly, part of the Rebels show, and it's how Ezra managed to banish Thrawn's fleet into parts unknown. And so apparently in the Ahsoka show, she's going to look for Thrawn and probably Ezra, and so maybe the space whales show up in that, and they're just kind of doing a little, hey, remember, you saw them already. That's what I'm guessing. So, the droid. So, the reason that Mando comes back to Navarro is he wants to get IG-11.
Yeah.
Because it's the one droid he trusts. and he needs that droid to help guide him to Mandalore or whatever. It's a little thin, but I'll say this. Once he goes through the whole process of waking him up, and he wakes up the droid, and the droid tries to immediately to kill him and Grogu, and he has to turn it off, I think I'd be like, I don't think I can trust that droid anymore, and I would just move on. But he's like, no, we'll find a way to adjust his programming to make him trustworthy. The whole point in me coming to this was, though, he's the one guy I can trust. As soon as I tried to activate him, he tried to kill me, but I still trust him. I'm like, what? Why? He's a droid. Just go on, move on with your life. Anyway.
Sure. He'll find the part and put it in. It's like, okay, hopefully this will work, and maybe it'll like switch off occasionally where he'll cross him, but then he kicks him like Fonzie or something, and then he boom, gets back to, I'm now your trusted friend again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the IG-11 seems to be proving his thesis, which is that they're not trustworthy. Yeah. It's like, I trust him implicitly. Yeah, he just tried to kill me literally seconds ago and was pretty good at it. But no, I feel like if I could just turn a switch, he'll be fine, hopefully, and I'll never know if he's going to go off or not. But yeah, I trust him. Like, okay. But it's a plot point, and you got to get the part to get the droid to get to the right spot on Mandalore.
Yeah. You know, and they're maybe he'll have a little switch on him, like the Ken doll in Toy Story 3, or Toy Story 3, or
I was thinking of Krusty
Simpsons
the Clown
episode,
doll
Krusty the Clown.
Simpsons. Here's the problem: your doll's turned to evil. We also had the weird thing where the pirates have come back to town. They basically are, threaten Grief Karga to say, hey, you built this town on bounty hunting money, on our efforts and stuff. So for you now to be all, I'm the good guy is, you're a hypocrite, I guess is kind of what they're saying. I don't know. And so they insist on going to get a drink in the school, which used to be a bar long ago. For one thing, I'm gonna guess that within an easy walking distance of that school, there's a bar. I mean, like, the way they act is like there's no bars in the city. There's bars in the city.
Right.
Go to the bar. Just go to... Yeah. No! This used to be a bar. I'm going here. Unless you kill me. Okay, fine, we'll kill you. But it's just kind of okay.
Yeah. Presumably, right. I mean, it's, that's their Seven Samurai,
Magnificent Seven.
Yep, Magnificent Seven. That's what you need. Like, the pirates are gonna take over the town. In
this case, it wasn't a saloon fight. It was a outside the saloon fight.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's perhaps their ulterior motive that we'll see more of, and that he's really having problems.
Yeah, we have their big head honcho. What's his name? Like Gorian Shard or something like that. Like, cool name. But he's a pirate, and he's mad at Mando, and he's got a big ass ship, and so he's gonna. How does everybody keep falling for the go to hyperspace thing? I was like, I've got you. You can either surrender your ship or die. I'll just hit hyperspace and leave. Damn it. Option 3. I forgot about that one. We saw that in Andor actually as well. Andor did that. Whoop. This was a good Mando show. But if Mando isn't necessarily your flavor of Star Wars, if perhaps you're still coming down off the spoiled by Andor, this might feel like, okay, that's interesting. The lack of cohesive dialogue. Okay, fine. So it's different. But as far as what Mando tends to offer, this episode offered that. I'll just say that. So we're off and running. Apparently, I saw that Boba Fett is apparently going to make a guest appearance in the season at some point. So
okay. Well, there you go.
Show up.
I came to visit you to thank you for coming to my planet and, helping me, which you can see on the Boba Fett show.
That's right. I did feel sorry for Bo-Katan. That was a lonely castle. They're like, does she live with anyone at all? Does she have servants? Does she have? She had a droid outside, but there was this giant hall, and she's just sitting in a chair waiting for someone to show up. Oh God! Thank God!
That's right.
Someone's here. Oh, you want to stay? You want to?
I'll start the tour in a minute.
I've got board games we can play. I assume Bo-Katan is certainly going to be back in the picture by the end of this as well. I think he will reignite. He'll inspire her when he discovers that, in fact, there are living waters under the mines of Mandalore, and she'll be like, "Oh, damn it! Okay, I should have checked that out many years ago." But yeah. So we're so we're getting. It sounds like you're a little meh at the moment on Mandalorian in general.
Yeah, they're gonna have to earn my interest.
Okay, I'm meh plus. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with watching the cartoon Dungeons and Dragons module that is this show. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if maybe it can earn a meh plus from you, Paul. And so happy birthday again to you,
Thank you.
Paul. And we will talk to everybody next time. Bye. Hey Internet, it's Matt here with a little bonus content for you. Paul and I recently recorded our reaction to Antman and the Wasp Quantumania. It was a 40-minute discussion, but as it turned out, my mic epically failed. I sounded like an air traffic controller. So anyway, just to keep it from being a total loss, here is a short section of that video in which Paul, I think, sums up our general feelings about the film. Enjoy.
I had lowered my expectations, and it wasn't as bad as I feared it would be, and yet I still thought it was not as good as it should have been. So yeah, I while there were things that I liked about it, there were more things that I didn't like about it, and it makes me concerned with this current phase of Marvel. I enjoyed seeing all these characters again. Paul Rudd and Hank Pym. I liked the idea of I didn't even though we saw ants, going down with them into the quantum realm. I was glad that Hank had something to do. So it was like he's not just standing around like, "Oh, let me know when you're finished beating them up." Like one of the things that I guess though is coming, if it's Secret Wars and all that, is some attempt to collapse the multiverse, and of course the reason why you do that is because you want to bring in X-Men and Fantastic Four, and so presumably that's all part of it. And at one point I was excited about it, and now I'm wary. So, because it's like, wow, this craziness that we've seen trying to get there, is so far, it's left me wanting. So